Aloha guys! My name is Martin Solhaugen and I've been doing video for about 10 years. I've got into daily vlogging about 57 episodes ago. And I've gotten a lot of comments on how I edit my daily vlogs. If you're a soulmate and you're watching this because of all the adventures that we do, this is not the vlog for you. This vlog will take you guys through how I edit my stuff and just basically all the things that's worth considering and the time that goes into the editing. So if you want to see more adventures, check in tomorrow. This is just a tutorial on how I edit all my stuff and different techniques and also perks. So this vlog will cover camera settings, storylines when vlogging, organizing footage, setting up your project preset, editing and sound, shortcuts and flow, exporting, and finally, perks and soulmate secrets. So before I jump into this thing and show you guys a little screen recording of how I edit, I want to talk about what you should consider as your camera settings when you're out shooting. So I never went to video school. Everything I learned is based on what I've seen others do, what I've seen on the internet. Shout out to Taylor Cut, amazing guy, and also watching Marcus Schultz in Word of Projects editing. So based on all that, I'm not a professional. This is just how I do it. So if you see something in this video that you think could be improved or stuff that could save me time, please comment. I'm always open for improvements and stuff that will make my flow and things that make me could save time. But anyway, this is what I do. I've been doing it for 10 years, so I think I have a little bit gesture of how it works. So first, when you go out and shooting, as I've talked about in my camera review vlog, you want to consider what you're shooting on in terms of frame rate. So right now, I'm shooting on 1080p 25 frames per second. This is basically the best quality that this camera, my Canon EOS 7D, can deliver. But if you're a guy with a better camera that can shoot on, let us say, 1080p 60 frames per second, you should always shoot on that because then you have the ability to slow it down. Because if you slow down at 1080p 25 frames per second, the footage is going to look real bad. It's going to look like it's lagging. You'll probably experienced this before. When I do like a selfie, I try to remember to put the settings on 1080p 25 frames per second. As I mentioned, this is the best quality that my camera can shoot on. When I'm shooting on B-roll, I'm shooting on 50 frames per second, 720p. This is the best my camera can deliver in terms of slow motion. And that's just because when you're trying to capture a feeling, you're showing facial expressions, you're showing movement, and it's just a feeling to the music when it's in slow motion. It's weird how that works, but yeah. I think that was all that I think about when I'm shooting. Yeah, you obviously want the best quality possible. Next, we're going to jump into storyline when vlogging, because I produce one movie every day. So I have the ability, I have the benefit basically that I'm out there, I'm shooting, so when I get home and I'm starting editing this, I've already made up my mind how I want it to look, the storyline I was trying to produce. So that's a huge advantage of doing daily vlogs, that it's always fresh in your memory, kind of what you shot. But when you're out there shooting, it's really important that you consider what you're talking about, like your storyline. And I think that is the hardest part about vlogging, because I am there. I have everything around me. I have a 3D dimensional space. I'm seeing everything. That we drove out on the west side of Oahu, it really matters to the storyline. So you gotta keep that in mind. Talk about where you are, what you did, and why you're there, okay? It's important. And it's really easy to forget, and it's easy to think that, yeah, I'm gonna do that later, but always just do it, and if you don't use it, fine, but then you have it. The worst part is getting home and you see that, Jesus, I don't have a storyline. And that's when you get like emergency solutions, like I had to do sometimes. You just have to write in black and white 6 hours later, because you forgot to say where you were and what happened. So keep that in mind. Always, talk about where you are and what you're doing, where you're going, just the plans of the day, okay? Now it's time to jump into the computer and how we edit. But first I want to show you like a little soulmate perk here. You've probably seen it, but it's really brilliant if you haven't. Because when you're doing daily vlogs, you might find yourself on a plane or on a train or in a car even when you're editing. So this thing, it's Velcro. Attached to my hard drive, and I have it on the computer as well. You can buy it off for like 10 bucks at Sears or some, hardware store, and you just place it on your hard drive, put it on the back of your computer, and it sticks there. So when you're in your car or on a plane, it won't, nap out and your project is done. Also, get yourself a really good headset. But this is important because I've done vlogs only on the headset, and just exported it out and uploaded it, and you're like, what? Because you can hear so many sounds on a headset that you cannot hear on a speaker in your computer. So before you upload it and before you're exporting it finally, I would suggest that you listen through it one time on your computer. That way you know that the sounds is also going to appear on a smartphone, or for people in general who might not use headsets when they're watching your vlogs or videos. So let's open Premiere Pro and have a look. Okay, so this is the first thing I see when I open my Premiere Pro. Here we have all the projects that I've been working on lately, and I'm just going to go ahead and push new project. And this one I'm going to name Vlog 57. Okay. Now this is my Premiere project, and the first thing I'm going to do is hit New Sequence. Here you see I have already made myself a vlog preset, and it's an editing mode of DSLR, time-based 25 frames per second, frame size 1920 x 1080. Okay guys, you're looking at the beautiful west side of Oahu, Hawaii. But let's go ahead and open our Adobe Premiere Pro. So this is the first thing you see, and these are the previous projects I have worked on. Let's go ahead and push new project. Let's name it Vlog 57. Okay, I already made that, so yeah, let's override it. You want to hit New Sequence. Now this custom or preset I already have made. So this is the preset I edit on every time, and it's just easy for me because then I know that's what I need, that's what's working. Editing mode DSLR, time-based 25 frames per second, frame size 1920 x 1080. You see it all here. If you're wondering how to create your own of these, like for the settings you want, you just go in here, you choose DSLR here. Time base, I know a lot of people like to edit in 23.976 frames per second. You choose your frame size, horizontal and vertical, and then you go save preset. It's that simple. But as you know, I have already done that. So I'm going to go with my vlog preset. Here we go. Hit OK. Now this is your sequence timeline, and this is your project. So this is your sequence timeline. And now let's jump into how we organize our footage. I like to keep all my footage off the computer so it's as fast as possible. That's why the hard drives. I want to go to vlog, and as you see here I have it all listed, I have all the raw footage logged. So I want to hit up, I believe it was vlog 36. As you see I categorize it by Canon 7D and the DJI, which was the two cameras I shot on that day. And what I usually do, if you see this like dots, colored dots, it's just that when I'm editing I scroll through and I look at all the footage, and if I see something really cool I like to mark it, so that way I know, yes. But to me red means that this was something important, I don't know why I put yellow, but it's probably because at the time I was thinking, yeah, this might be usable. So let's look at how vlog 36 looked like. Okay. So obviously it takes some time to load all the footage, and this is also why I keep them on hard drives, because if you're if you're a designer, about InDesign and how you can package content, it's not possible here. So you want to make sure that your root projector files are kept on the hard drives. But okay, hey, let's look at it. So here you go guys, this is vlog 36 and what it looks like to me on the timeline. You can see there's sound down here, audio and video, and I also have adjustments layer and Instagram references on top, all the way on the top. I always like to shout out to the people that's in my vlogs. I also have introduction presets going on here, just a lot of different stuff, and transitions between the music and all that. So let's open a new sequence within this existing project, and let's jump back and forth and I can show you how I did it. What I do, because I edit every day, I don't have I have a short amount of time. I just like to keep it on the hard drive. I don't put it in here like I know a lot of people do. That might be someone might be calling me out on that, but I don't care. This is how I do it. Vlog 36, Canon 70. Okay. So you imported all your stuff. You're looking at.
Good morning, Adrian. Good morning. How's it, guys? Made it back up to Tantalus this morning.
So you see Adrian, he's talking. That's my introduction shot right there. So what I'll do, I'll just drag that over here. It's going to ask me if I want to keep the existing settings or change the sequence settings. And I already made up my preset, so I'm not going to change that. I'm going to keep existing settings. Wow, why does it look so, you know, scaled down? It's because I was shooting on 720p to get more frames per second in there. So what I have done, I have made myself commands that I can click. So by clicking Q, boom, it's already scaled up perfectly to fit the frame rate. Now how did I do that? So how did I do that? I'm gonna go over all my shortcuts for commands later, but right now I want to jump into how I edit. So let's look at sequence 1. How did this vlog start? Let's play it back.
Hey Adrian! How's it guys? We are back at it again, now from Tantalus, and this morning is absolutely amazing. Look at this guys, not a cloud in the sky. In a little bit we're gonna have the sun coming up and we're gonna get these shots. Let's go! I'm taking matters into my own hands now. Let's face it, we only got this life to live out. So follow me, I'm ready to go. I'll take the lead, I'm ready to go.
Okay, a little behind the scenes here, guys.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. It's one of my favorite intros so far in my vlogging game. And it's just because the song and everything is so beautiful. Okay, so let's take a look at how this was put together. First you have the intro coming in, Adrian's talking, and the music is in the background. I kept this at minus 21 decibels, just so it's there. Okay, but it's not in the way of him talking.
Not a cloud in the sky. In a little bit we're gonna have the sun coming up and we're gonna get these shots. Let's go!
So another thing to pay attention to, as I did here, is that while he's saying this, you see I'm putting my arms out and I'm looking up. Boom, what happens? The drone shot is taking you upwards. And again, he's climbing, it's taking you upwards. This is some, you know, things that it's in your consciousness, but you don't really pay attention to it. But it's just a part of like the motion game within the editing. It's really important to also think about when you're like shooting this stuff, but also when you're editing. Look for movements that can take you into the next shot. Okay, so how is this done? I put a constant power layer on there. So without having that constant power layer,
Let's go!
it's just a mess, you know, it's not nice to listen to. So while adding that constant gain over there and dragging it out like this, you're gonna get, you see that line? You're gonna get a constant race in music. So let's listen to it again.
Let's go!
Okay, that's so much better, right? The color codes here represents the different frame rates. You have green, it's a stabilized shot, a nested sequence. And also, that's exactly what I want to show you. Once I taught myself how to use warp stabilizer, it changed my life. Like, it's like all the B-rolls I use are almost always gone through a processing of a nested sequence with a warp stabilizer effect. So I want to show you how that is done. And that's, if you didn't know about this, it's really going to change how you shoot. I want to show you the difference between using warp stabilizer and not using warp stabilizer, because the difference is just so freaking huge, it's not even funny. Here you go. This clip I used warp stabilizer and it's marked by green. So let's open up our new file, new sequence. Yeah, I want to show it to you all the way from the scratch. This is the original clip, guys. Yeah, as you see, it's pretty shaky. It's shaky. It's not easy to keep your arms straight and, you know, not shaky when you're on top of a freaking radio tower. Okay, so this is a shot played to you. Now you want to slow it down, because we're doing B-rolls, and the slow motion is gonna look so much freaking cooler. Okay, so that's the shot. You see the sound peaking over here, it's just terrible. So the first thing you want to do is maybe drop that sound all the way down. So by using your finger on the finger pad over here, you can access this function that allows you to, you know, change the sound. The thing is, you cannot use your effect as a warp stabilizer, it's what it's called. What happens if I try to drop that on the same clip with a lower speed? Warp stabilizers requires clip dimension to match sequence. Fix this by nesting. Well, first time I got that error message, I had no idea what that meant. I think it was Word of Project Boys that taught me that if you just nest this sequence, then put your warp stabilizer on, it's good. Now it says that it's analyzing in the background, step 1 out of 2. You can see it's analyzing on the side here. Now this is a time-consuming process when you're editing. That's why it takes so much longer time to create vlogs with B-roll than it would have taken if you're just, you know, an average vlogger on your boardroom talking to the camera. I'm not that kind of guy. I like to show you guys adventures and all that type of stuff. So that's why I spend so much more time editing than I think the average daily video blogger does. If you didn't know about this, it takes a lot of time to just analyze one freaking video. Now it's reaching 100, stabilizing. Boom. In the beginning, you see how much smoother this is right now? It's ridiculous, right? It's lagging a little bit because of the computer. So if you're familiar with using a glide cam, it's basically you know, an old-fashioned stabilizer for your camera before the run-in, you know, all those different gyro stabilizer things came out. To get that effect, which is, I think, much more pretty, you want to push 2% over here. That means it's not going to be as warped as it was. It's not going to be as zoomed in, because this program is doing all it can to stabilize that shot. I think it was Birdman that commented, how am I able to get so smooth shots? Now this is part of the secret, okay? Because, you know, when you're adventuring, you don't have the space and, you know, the capability to carry all these different stabilizers up there. But you want to be as steady as you can on your hand. So let's look at the two shots. Let's look at the raw footage, and let's look at the new version that we just created. It's super clean. You know, it's almost like no shaking at all in the camera. While the original version, you see it's shaking a little bit. Yes. Okay, so you know, it makes a lot of difference, and sometimes you cannot even believe that how much difference it makes. So that was one of the perks with the warp stabilizer effect, and I think that's going to change your life if you didn't already know. Okay, now, so we looked at the warp stabilizer. Now I want to show you how I do it with the music. Let's take this section and put it into our sequence where we test all the stuff. Now we have the shots. We have our shots, you know, that we wanted to use. We've been putting them into warp stabilizer, cutting them the way we want, and now it's time to add music. Okay, so this is the music track we have. Let's drag it all the way out and let's listen to how it is normally. Let's just see down here in the music bar, you can see it peaks, and right here there's probably a drop. Let's confirm that. So what I usually do is I listen to the sound and I wait for the drop, like the most eccentric part of the sound clip. It's here, right there. Okay, boom. I found it. It's right there. I'm gonna cut it. So this is your cut tool. It's also Command K. Boom. Now I know that this is where the drop is. And so what I always do first is that I use all my raw footage and I make sure that the story I want is there. So I always edit all the raw footage first before even considering adding music. I have my project and I know where I want the sound to be most eccentric. Right now I want the drop to be here, because this is when I'm showing the entire spot. Like he reached the top, it's the most like eccentric part of the video. So I'm gonna leave the drop there, you know, I cut it so I know it's exactly there, and I'm gonna drag it backwards towards the start. Okay? This way I know that, you know, the drop is appearing where I want it to be, and I don't have to worry about cutting all my clips later. Okay, there's also different like techniques. You want to do Command K, where, you know, we stop talking at one point. That's where you stop talking. You want to do Command K. You open this up, like I showed you previous, with, you know, your fingers on the finger pad. You drag this down to, I would say, 24. You add an audio effect, racing audio effect, constant power. Boom. You can also drag that individually out like this.
We're gonna get these shots. Let's go.
Boom. So now what happens, you know, it's working perfectly from behind, and on the drop, boom, you see him there. Just a little trick that'll make it easier for you to think. So the first thing I do when I edit is I make my storyline. That means I'm collecting all the raw material I want, and I'm making sure that I'm telling the story I want without any music or anything, okay? I'm also cutting the sound on those individual clips down here, as you can see. And then later on, I am adding the sound and the adjustment color grading. Okay, so let's look at color grading. Okay, so we have our original shots. Okay, this is flat. This is shot on the most flat possible way on your camera. So what I do to color grade, instead of like doing each clip individual with color up here, temperature, exposure and all that, I create a new adjustment layer. That's the same frame rate. I put that on top, drag it over. Now this is going to change the entire thing, the entire look of the video, instead of just individual clips. I am using something called M31 lock. Ooh, he just revealed his secrets. Now, wow, look at that. That's so, like, weird, right? It's too much. So what I do is I go, this is why I use the adjustment layer, is because I go to opacity over here, and I use 38%. It's just a thing I've set myself. It's 38%, okay? That's what it is. And now you can go into each individual clip and look at them. So what I also do is I add a little bit more black and drag the shadows a little bit down. Now this is basically my color grading, okay? But you see, without it, it's really flat, and with it, it's better. It's more color to it. Okay. Basically, when you're shooting on different cameras, you will see that the colors are different. Like here is a flatter image than on the drone. So what I do is that for example, if I know there's a lot of drone shots after each other, I'll cut the adjustment layer here and there. That's all drone shots. And I'll edit this adjustment layer, then I know I'm only editing the drone shots. So for examples, I'll do more shadows. You know, drone shots need more shadows, a little bit more contrast to it, and now you have a much more, you're showing more, okay? It's beautiful that you can do this in post-production later, okay? That was color grading. That's how I color grade. You probably have 10,000 other questions to this, but this is all I can think about right now. That's how I color grade. It's just, you know, the basics that, you know, you use an adjustment layer to get an overall corresponding look. You know, you want the entire movie to have the same temperature and feel to it. And you're also cutting the adjustment layer for different camera settings. Okay, that's just easier. If you see that one clip is super different than all the others, you know, it's hard to always get the settings right. And you can just go into that individual clip and change that, okay? You also have the creative here where you can do like more vibrance, for example. It's whatever you want, basically. What I like about this, the M31 log, however, is that it really makes your eyes pop. It's really beautiful. And when you're doing, you know, vlogging, there's a lot of selfie cams, and you want your eyes to look nice. So, we have so far covered sound, we have covered editing, basic editing, and we have covered the color grading. So, you know, tuning into all of these things is the shortcut and the flow, and just, you know, you want to save as much time as possible. At least if you're doing daily vlogs, you know. I spend 4 to 5 hours editing every night. It's ridiculous how much time I spend on it. So every second I can save is just, wow, that's what I need. Let's jump into shortcuts and flow. Now let's go all the way to the back. This is the first thing I always do, you know, I edit the story first. Let us say we add a couple of clips in that's, you know, in the same time frame, like in the intro section. That's the first thing I do, is that I push Q and I add all these things up. But how did I make these keyboard shortcuts? Well, if you push Premiere Pro, it's like the first thing that happens, the keyboard shortcuts. You can, here you can see, you can search for shortcuts. So for example, the shortcuts that I have is that I have Q, scale to frame size. So how did I find that? I push scale to frame size, shortcut Q. So now I'm gonna show you a couple of like tricks on how you can, you know, move from using the eraser tool over here. You know, you're using space. Oh, now I want to cut it there. And maybe you're moving this, and you're like, okay, I want to cut it there. Now this is the hard way. You know, you have to move your mouse all the time. Okay, so let's space. That's when I start talking. Now moving the arrow key down here, the arrow key, it's frame by frame. Okay. This, I said there, I go a couple back so I know I'm getting that. Command K will cut the clip. Now pushing the arrow up will jump you back. See that? Jumps all the way back. Pushing just the D will mark that clip, and then you can delete it, push D again, and you know, you're there. I'm not even touching the mouse pad right now. I'm playing again. This is my city, guys. This is my city, guys. I just said that. Command K. Push D. What D does is mark the clip in front of you. Push delete, push D, you're marking the space or clip in front of you, push D, bang, you're there. Now let's see how I would do that if I'm not explaining it, how fast it actually goes. Like, and you'll understand how much time you can save on it. This is my city, guys. Boom. That fast, you know, you're saving a lot of time. And you can think about if I'm editing 4 hours every night, how much time I can save by doing just that. That's one of the tricks that I use. So that's why it's really important that you check out your keyboard shortcuts. And I mean, there's probably things that I'm not doing right either that could be done faster. And if you're smarter than me, please leave a comment on that. You know, I'm trying to, you know, make my workflow better. Okay, guys, we reached exporting. So your timeline looks like this. You are done. You've, you know, edited everything. You have color graded it, put in music, and you're happy about it. So when you want to export, you want to hit over here, media, export, file, export, media. So what I do is I hit this preset thing. I go down to YouTube 1080p HD, and I'm using maximum render quality. Yes, I just like to scroll through this to see that I like didn't do anything wrong or anything. Yeah, it looks good. The output name, I want to save it to my hard drive. Now, what you call it here is also what it will be called on YouTube. So, I'm a caps lock guy, by the way, so I use caps lock. So when you name your vlogs, you want to, at least if you don't have like 500,000 subscribers, you want to be aware of what you're naming your vlog. Like, what is it that people search for? People don't search for me in jungle. Me in jungle climbing, no, they don't search for that. They search for the specific place you were at when you were hiking. So I'm gonna go with Tantalus Radio Tower. Log 57. I usually like to add Oahu, Hawaii. By doing this, I am just, you know, broadening the range for people finding my vlogs. I've seen on my statistics on YouTube, 50% of the views I get is from recommended videos on the side, which means that people actually see my video on the side because I am doing this thing right, that I'm naming it the right thing. It is linked to other people being on the same type of like hikes or locations, and then they click my video as well. So it's really important what you name it, just the first step of it. Okay, boom. We're gonna hit save, and we're gonna hit export. So first it's running all the audio, and then it's gonna start rendering the video moments later. So we rendered out our video. You're going into YouTube, you're pushing the upload button, bang. It's starting to upload. See, what I saved it as is also what it's stating it to be here. And this is where you can schedule your posts. You're scheduling it. I always try to schedule mine at 7 a.m. in the morning. The next day I add a little thing here because it will pop up on Google. I'll go like West Side to ourselves. Okay, I'll do a thumbnail image. I had saved that on the very same vlog from yesterday. Thumbnail, boom. I'll add that one in there. It can only be 2 megabytes. You want to keep that in mind. I'm not going to show you my keywords because they're kind of like private, but it's what I do is I have a Word document with a lot of keywords like Hawaii. I have that saved on my computer, and I just paste that in there. Boom. Time saved once again. For the description here, I will go to one of my previous videos, and I will just copy from from yesterday, everything that was in there. And I will paste it into today's vlog, And I also write a little caption about what we did that day. I'm just going to change that and it's done. I don't have to spend time on it anymore. Okay, so that was the exporting part. Yes, finally, I am going to jump into perks. Like perks and Solmate secrets. Or another perk I have is that I have this already finished preset. You know, this is our outro. It's just a video I already made with the logo, you know, and all the Instagram stuff. So I always add that on the end. Whenever I do that, I add an effect which is called low pass. And the low pass effect makes it sound like the music is coming from inside a room and you're standing on the outside. It's just a really cool effect on the outro here. You should just play around with that effect too. You can also use it for example, if you're diving into water and you're underwater, you want it to sound a bit different, you know, you can play with the low pass over here. So that's one little perk, or secret, whatever you want to call it. Another thing I do is that in Photoshop, I have a lot of already presets made in the same frame rate, 1920 times 1080. So here you go, vlog intro preset Instagram. In this episode, vlog intro. Let's take a look at them. So when I'm doing vlog 57 today, I'll go video blog 57, how I edit my vlogs. Then you want to go into the rectangle, Command T, and you can change it, and you want to push this out. There you go. Video blog 57, how I edit my vlogs. You want to go to the, you know, same thing. You want to go to your vlog 57 folder, and you want vlog intro preset, PNG. Bang. Okay. Boom. Now I also have like a little effect on that. So if you watch vlog 36, you'll see how it like pops in like that. Boom. Tantalus Radio Tower, Hawaii. See this effect? It says wipe. Without it, it's just gonna appear. So if we right here, wipe, let's drag that on there. Boom. I like to make it a little shorter. It comes in from left to right. You push the effect and you go into the effect, you can push reverse. Now it's gonna go from right to left. Boom. And it's gonna go out on left to right. Same with my Instagram like things. It's the same technique. I have a Photoshop preset for it. Open recent, open, let's see, vlog intro preset Instagram, cancel, there you go. So this is when I'm at currently Hawaii, a guy, Dylan. Shout out to Dylan. And if I wanted to change that, you know, I'll just push here the text tool and I'll go into that and I can change it to whatever I want. Okay, boom. That's basically what I do, you know? That's it, guys. I hope that answered some questions for you. I mean, I've been doing this for quite some while. I'm not a professional. This is just what I do. This is how I edit my vlogs. If you've been watching my vlogs and you're really not into editing, but you watch this and you're like, wow, yeah, it's a lot of freaking work that goes into just editing one vlog. And I think it's important to appreciate that whenever you watch anything. That's how you're gonna become a good videographer. If you start paying attention to commercials and how things are done, you know, it's just mind-blowing what you will start noticing if you start looking. If you're a soulmate, if you've been watching my vlogs for a while, I'm so stoked that you watched this as well, and I hope you found it useful. I hope it answered a lot of the questions you had. If you're a new person from some random place and you just wandered into this video tutorial and found it useful, I'd like to invite you into my channel as well and check out the stuff that I've been doing. Normally we're doing a lot of adventure stuff, so if you want to see more of that, subscribe to this channel, stay stoked, and get out there. Now I'm gonna go and edit this vlog. I'll catch you tomorrow, guys, and yeah, later.